Let me start you now.
Nice.
All right, so we're gonna run through a couple tests,
Yeah.
just audio tests. So I don't know, just tell me what you think of Hiram Clark Hustler.
Oh, easy. This is God's gift to Earth. It's the holy grail of cloud rap. It's the holy grail of music. It's way better than Pet Sounds or To Pimp a Butterfly. It's way better than anything Kanye West is ever willing to do. Fucking coward. Cooler than Miles Davis. Hotter than WAP. It's emotional. It's hard hitting. It has the meaning of life hidden behind something that seems dumb. It is the album of the 2010s. It is the best album of all time. Viper should be crowned the GOAT. Viper should be crowned as president. Viper should be crowned as God. I love this album more than I love my own life. I'd rather drink piss than not listen to this album once a day. The album is perfect, and nothing in the world will make me change my mind. He should outsail Drake. He should outsail the Beatles. SoundCloud would be nothing without Viper. What if Viper's actually a time traveler that went back in the 80s and invented rap? Actually, what if he invented Vipers? What the fuck? This guy is a fucking genius. People see it here as a joke, but it is a heavenly piece of modern art, a masterpiece. It should be treated as the woke piece of philosophical criticism that it is. The production, it is perfect too. It captures the essence of this incredibly dense opinions of a split man. Viper, this album is what Mad Villainy could never be. Nas cries in the fucking shower every time he remembers Viper made an album better than Stinkmatic. The haters won't get it, but this is the best album of all time. Did you get that? Does that sound good?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect.
All right, great.
What's up with that? Two cowards who don't even smoke crack. What's up with that? Two cowards who don't even smoke crack.
Hey guys, I'm Garrett,
I'm Will.
and together we're two cowards who don't even smoke crack. This is a podcast dedicated to reviewing the musical works of Lee Carter, aka Lee Dog, aka Cobra, aka Rip, aka Diamondback, or as you may know him, Viper. Between the two of us, we have 0 years of experience in reviewing music, or really, professional criticism of any kind. In some ways, this makes us perfect to review Viper, because we too know what it feels like to be devoid of any sort of talent. And
I feel that
boy howdy,
that may be true more than ever.
Boy howdy, is that more true than ever.
Where do we start? To remind everyone, this week we're talking about two albums. We have Viper's Story Time and The Best Piece and Chain Ever Made, both of which are real departures, I would say, from what we've come to expect from Viper. What? I mean, do you disagree? I think that these are both very different from what... Well, half of Best Piece and Chain is very different, but Viper's Story Time is just...
Very...
There's... more strings. It's a lot more stripped back, less effects on the vocals.
Yeah. It's
you
almost...
will never hear another Viper album like Viper Storytime.
I can guarantee that nobody will ever hear a more just different Viper album than Viper Storytime, or whatever the name of that other Viper album that we listened to was called. I've entirely forgotten what that one was called.
I think that was the Strike of the Viper.
The Venomous Strike of the Viper or something like that.
Yeah.
So we have a couple cameo appearances this week. The first, so it is going to get confusing. So let's lay this down at the outset. When we say Lee Dog, we're referring to the artist formerly known as Lee Dog, now known as Viper. The one that this...
The rapper.
Viper the rapper.
That we've mostly talked about.
Viper the rapper. When we talk about Víbora, that is us referring to the Brazilian heavy metal band Viper. When we refer to anti-Viper, we are referring to the Confederate sympathizer who is the mastermind behind
Viper Storytime.
And when we say Viper, we are referring to an Eastern European rapper who has released one single.
Right. So here's the thing. This is why we're doing this, because this seems really weird. Why are we just talking about other people called Viper? There's this really kind of bizarre thing. Garrett and I noticed it the same week, but we didn't talk about it really on the show. if you go on YouTube and watch any or listen to any of the songs on the Viper Topic YouTube channel, like the official auto uploaded YouTube run thing, if you look at the profile picture, there's a bunch of white dudes, or I guess not white dudes, but like South American dudes on it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Viper metal band.
Right.
But all of the Viper the Rapper songs are also automatically uploaded to this page.
Right.
And all of the Viper weird Confederate guy songs are also on that page.
Anti-Viper.
Right, excuse me. Víbora and Anti-Viper have their songs on that page. And so if you look on the both of the official Spotify pages for Viper, because he has two, you will find just random albums from Brazilian metal band Viper and Anti-Viper just there.
Yeah.
Like this is Viper the Rapper's page, but he just uploaded them there because I guess he didn't care, he didn't know.
Yeah.
But I think that's great because that means that canonically these are all Viper songs.
Right, correct.
They're all like the same beings.
Correct.
It's like Venom.
Yeah.
Like you said, Marvel trademarked character Venom.
Yes, he is a Viper character.
So when we get into Viper story time, these are Viper songs. Everything that he says, I'm going to attribute to Viper the Rapper.
Right, because they're on his Spotify, so therefore he makes money, or his company makes money.
Right.
So I also want to point out, so Víbora is either Spanish or Portuguese. It's spelled the same, I assume pronounced differently for Viper. I don't speak either Portuguese or Spanish, so I can't. It's neither here nor there. But I want to point out, Will and I had an inordinate amount of fun for like an hour and a half on Google Translate, just looking up different ways to say Viper and seeing all the funny ones. My name, we use Discord to chat for these recordings. My name is now and forever shall be Poskok, which is, I think Hungarian.
Yeah,
for Viper,
like
maybe like Belarusian or something like that. But way too much fun for way too long. Not only doing that, but also translating the lyrics of Viper into Cantonese and then back into English and reading them out loud to each other. It was some real middle school Tuesday night shit that we were doing. It was a lot of fun.
It really was. We also sat down and listened to Viper Storytime live during that session. That's true. And y'all, It is an experience. I cannot recommend listening to that enough. It is. Do you want to start there, or do you want to start with best piece?
I think we should talk. We may be able to fill an hour just talking about Viper's fucking story time. So let's start.
This could be a long one. All right, so Viper story time. I knew that it was going to be something odd as soon as I saw it, because the album art is the back of a dinged up pickup truck with a guitar case on the ground with what looks like an empty can of beans.
It's a Campbell's. I zoomed in. It is a Campbell's tomato soup can.
Okay, and then there's a Confederate license plate on the back of the truck. So I was like, this seems a little odd for the Viper I know. And then it jumps into it opens, and immediately there's classic country guitar chords, and I'm like, okay, this song is called Bumpin' Uglies. This is interesting. And then immediately it's a song about old people having sex.
About the narrator's grandmother and grandfather having sex, I want to point out.
Yeah, we get such quotes as wrinkled raisins doing it all night long, and my personal favorite, caught him in the living room chair doing it doggy style,
pulling on Granny's hair.
Yep. That's excellent. And it's like a 1 minute song, and you're just in it. It's like, okay, what do I do now?
All of these songs are very short, but they feel very, very long. I literally had to physically close my mouth because my jaw dropped when I heard the lyric, doing it in the living room chair, pulling on Granny's hair. It's just...
yeah,
absurd and disgusting, and I love it.
The only thing about this album is that I think that the first two songs are pretty good, and then it just falls off, and by the end Well, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but the last two songs are called Baboon Butt Hemorrhoids.
That's correct.
And Fliggin' Poo on You.
Yep, that's correct.
And so by then it's kind of over. But let's do like we normally do. It's a new album. So do you have any other notes about Bumpin' Uglies before we move on?
No, I do want to say that, like you said, Bumpin' Uglies is probably the best song. There's, weirdly enough, and I'm sure we'll bring this up. This is, of course, just so everyone is clear, this is not Lee Dog. This is not Viper the rapper.
Right, this is anti-Viper.
This is anti-Viper. I have no idea who this guy is. He's never released any other music as far as I'm aware.
Nope. And this came out in 2010.
Yeah, so there are, weirdly enough, a lot of parallels that we'll bring up between between Anti-Viper and Lee Dog that I think are so bizarre. And it comes out in the first song on this album, where it is the worst record. It sounds like he recorded it on, like, in that pickup truck. It sounds like he was using like a phone that he was recording into to record the entire thing. And funnily enough, he also just reuses the same like chord progression like for every other song off of Bumpin' Uglies, to where the intro to every song you're like, oh, did it just skip back to the beginning? Nope, it's still going. No. All right, fuck.
Yeah, I also think it's important. This is, I think, two people, because there's a different singer who does some of the background vocals and one of the songs. So I'm gonna assume that he's the guitar guy. One of them is probably the guitar guy. So yeah, I like to think that one of them was sitting in the front seat of the truck and the other one was in the bed of the truck playing the guitar. Yeah, that's how they recorded it.
That's pretty good.
Let's move on to Grandma Got Run Over by a Toyota.
So we mentioned this. Did we mention this on recording last week?
No, I think I just warned you. I just warned you. I think that the best way to sum up this song is this line. Let me read it to you. I'll tell you the truth. No, this ain't no bull hockey. They're all trying to kill us all off one by one for dropping a bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, well, the line preceding that also has to do with World War II as well. Yeah, it's all... Yeah. A lot of this album is in bad taste. I want to point out.
I would argue that like you probably just shouldn't listen to this because it's entirely offensive and it's not funny enough. Like, it's shocking, but it's definitely not funny.
No,
it's like bad seasons of South Park funny. If that appeals to you.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But also, it's like dated 2010 edgy, so it's like. Some of the stuff isn't even that edgy anymore. It's just like out of taste.
Right, exactly. And I was going to say, kind of similarly, it reminds me very much of like a Comedy Central Presents that would come on like after school in like 2010, 2009, where it was just like, it was a 30-minute shoot of this guy who's, you know, just getting started, or not just getting started, but this is his big time, you know, first special, quote unquote,
right?
And he's trying his hardest, and it is all just falling flat. There is very little. There's not a single point, I don't think, that I was laughing with this person or laughing at their jokes. Yeah. I was laughing specifically at this person for releasing this record, because it is just mind-boggling that you would put enough effort into it to write these songs, record these songs, and release it. Because these aren't lazy per se. There's a lot.
These are all written. Like none of these are like stolen lyrics. He clearly wrote all of these, and some of them, like Grandma Got Run Over by a Toyota, is exact. It's to the tune of the original.
Right.
Like it's a pair. It's just. I have a note later. I'll go ahead and say it. Like, imagine you like spent enough time learning to play the guitar to the point where you can like pretty well mimic these like classic country chord progressions. They're not like crazy, but they're done well enough. You get the idea. You spent all that time to learn the instrument, and this is what you do with it.
Yeah, exactly.
You're I don't know. Let's move on to Guys Who Play Sports.
Also a good so I will say, in his not in his defense, but you know, there's always that shitty thing where it's like, oh yeah, I make fun of everybody equally, and this guy to a certain extent certainly does.
He makes fun of himself, I think, more than any single other person on this album.
Or group of people, and he makes fun of
Right.
marginalized individuals a lot.
He does.
Lot.
He does.
But
He is also always the butt of a lot of the jokes.
That is also true. But again, laughing at him, not with him.
Yeah, so this is the point where a lot of my notes are just are like explaining the joke, because the whole song is basically the name and then explaining the joke from the name.
Right.
So this is about how the guys who play sports get women, and guys who don't play sports, he says, quote, when he was in high school, he would have to go home and stick his weenie in greased up bottles. That's the joke.
That seems
that
so
guys who
painful.
play sports get women, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
He also at one point says that if his next attempt to get a woman doesn't work, he'll turn gay, and then makes a sports joke by saying that even if he does turn gay, he'll still have to learn how to pitch or catch. I also have the note, it's hard to believe that only 10 people have ever listened to this song on YouTube, and it's been on the internet for 5 years, and it's like a 10-year-old song.
11.
It's been on this channel for 5 years. Yeah, 11 now. It's been on this channel for 5 years, and I was the 10th person to listen to it.
Jesus Christ.
You want to move on? You have anything for this one?
I had something in it, and it's gone now. So yeah, we'll move on. If I think of it, we'll come back.
This is the worst well, I think this is it's hard to say. The name of this song is Teabaggin' with One Nut.
Oh, right.
So,
this is my favorite song on the album. This is my favorite song on the album by far.
The context here is that the speaker, the singer, was working in some kind of construction plant. An accident. He was playing with napalm or something.
Homemade napalm, I thought.
Yeah, and he accidentally set it off. It blew him up in the air. It blew his underwear off, and it blew a 2x4 with a nail that like pinned him to the wall by his left nutsack or left nut. He lost it, and people laughed at his small penis. And he complains about the issues involved with trying to get someone to have sex with him because he only has one nut.
Right, because he says that girls don't even like it doggy style when there's only one nut clapping. One ball. Which,
hitting him in the butt.
Look, man, we were just criticizing this guy, but that's comedy gold right there. That is just peak.
What a concept for a song. But what I want to say is, since this is the official Viper channel, and this is on the official Viper Spotify, canonically speaking, Viper the rapper only has one nut.
That is true. That is very true.
I want to move on. Actually, hang on. Less than 50 people have ever heard this song. I added up the streams on Spotify that I could find. I don't know how consistent that data is. I added up the views on YouTube, and like fucking SoundCloud didn't have it. Napster had it, and it had like one download.
Jesus.
So probably less than 50 people have ever heard this.
That's incredible.
And I also said that that's a real shame.
There's no way that's true. This guy absolutely, like, he's from some small town in like bumfuck Oklahoma that has like one bar that he plays at every weekend, and he is still playing these songs.
Maybe so.
Although I don't know,
move on to
that bar probably doesn't have too many people besides regulars coming into it. So,
I don't know. There's some stuff in guys who play sports that I don't think you could even really have said 10 years ago. And then we're gonna get into the next one where you just can't sing Really Bad Day.
I can't remember that. I don't remember that one. Refresh me.
Let's start. This is Really Bad Day is the next one. This is, I think, the second worst on the entire album.
All right.
This is the one where he wakes up and he's having trouble peeing,
right?
And it kind of hurts, and so he goes to the doctor, and he's having some concerns because the doctor seems to be not following protocol while giving him like a prostate exam, and then at the end he reveals that, oh no, I'm actually like tweaking really hard on, he called it grass, but I don't think it's like weed, because he said he was like hallucinating. He was in some sort of psychosis.
Yeah, marijuana does not do that to you.
Yeah, it really does not. So he ended up in a gay bar that was offering free prostate exams. And he said that now when he farts, it's like a whistling sound because he's been hollowed out in some way. So
Doesn't he?
I don't know.
Doesn't he also get? Doesn't he also get AIDS? Isn't that part of the song?
That's late. No. That is another
Oh,
song.
okay, excuse me. I apologize.
No, he's this is fine. He was just, you know,
I'm surprised he didn't go
attacked,
for that
if you
low
will.
hanging fruit. That seems like right up this douchebag's
I think he was
alley.
saving it because he knew he had one later. This was bad, but the next one I think is the worst.
I want to say here, a couple of these that
okay.
we've had so far. Another parallel is that some of them could have been actual Viper songs or Viper lyrics, or album names, like the titles. Grandma Got Run Over by Toyota is absolutely a Viper ass fucking, like, he would just have a picture of like a Toyota Yaris and his face photoshopped badly over the Toyota symbol, and it would have been grandma got run over by the Toyota. And like, although actually it wouldn't have been Toyota, it would have been like by my caddy or something like that, by my Benz. Let's move on.
So this is, I think, the biggest crossover point where this is something that Viper would talk about. This is the most mean-spirited song I've ever heard in my entire life. It's called Everything Needed Work But Her Face, or Butterface.
This one sucks.
So I wanted to say at first that I was the first person to like this on YouTube, which is always fun.
You liked it?
It's so slow. I just wanted to say, I mean, it had no likes, no dislikes, so I had to do something.
Disliked it.
I was the first interaction. I took it away. I loaded the page, saw there wasn't one, liked it, heard the song, took it away, kind of deal.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
So this is the longest song on this album. It's like 4.5 minutes, but it has the least to say. So here's the premise. Let me get this for you. He goes to a bar. He sees a lady with a pretty face. He tells her that he likes her face, but everything else needs work. And she gets mad at him and goes for the guy who lies to her. Well, the joke was on her because now she's very fat. She's so fat, apparently, that she finds random, like, food in, like, folds and, like, stomped people and then died because she was too big. And they had to, like, use a crane to get her into the ground, and it dropped her, and there was an earthquake, and he's just, like, laughing his ass off about, like, haha, I tried to tell you, and now you're fat. It's like, what is wrong with you? It is
literally...
Who writes this?
It is like a best of MTV's Yo Mama written into a song and changed to be about a woman that didn't want to have sex with the narrator. It is lazy garbage.
As I've decided to start saying, you brought this up last week. This is based and Viper.
This is based on Viper build for sure. He would absolutely say this.
So something. If Viper got like dumped by some girl or turned down, he would write a rap about this with the same shit. This is awful. I would like to move on to what I think is actually kind of a fun concept.
I will. Before we move on, I want to say this is a little bit of foreshadowing. Just remember the lyric about finding food in his or in her folds.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, okay. Keep that in mind. Although, to be fair, this is a grilled cheese, so remember that. The next one is called Confederate Memorial Desecration.
God damn it.
Which what a name, by the way.
Here.
That's this is keep in mind, this is 2010. This is the middle of Obama's first term. Like, what do you think, like, put down in the comments right now, what do you think Confederate Memorial Desecration meant to this guy in 2010? Because, like, Garrett, you and I went to a school that's, like, pretty liberal.
Yeah.
And I would say it took a year or two from us getting into college in, 2016, 2017, as around, I would say, 2 years in. It was only around then at our college where people really got into, like, taking the statues down and renaming them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, like, this is 5 at least years before then.
Right, and I was going to say, they haven't even, the biggest one at our college, they have not even changed the name of that building yet. Like, they have, or they are just now changing it in 2021. Yep. Like, 11 years after Confederate Desecration, or whatever the fuck this stupid piece of shit is called.
Here's the plot here. Confederate Memorial Desecration to this guy is a bird a pigeon, if you will, flies over the statue.
A statue
lands
of
on
Robert
it,
E. Lee.
and- well, he only called him the general, but yeah.
I think we know who he's talking about.
Pooped on the general's face, and he becomes irate. He claims that the pigeon was possessed by the ghost of Lincoln.
That is so cool.
And he goes up north to find a statue of Lincoln, where he poops on the statue of Lincoln himself. The song concludes with him being arrested. He says, this is my favorite lyric, I think, in the whole album. Doing that ended me up in a Yankee jail. Being north of Mason-Dixon, well, it's worse than being in hell.
Totally true. 100% fair and true. That is based in Garrett Pilled.
That is based in yeah. He then went on to use some anti-gay slurs, which is rough, and then claimed that he was attacked in prison. Good job. Definitely couldn't have just ended this song like 30 seconds earlier.
That's where he gets AIDS, right? Damn it!
That's later.
Damn it! I know that he has like
he doesn't even get it. His wife does. Remember?
Oh, I don't remember that.
And that's actually the next song, "Memory Foam Bed."
No, want before we move on. This
you're not ready?
Fucking asshole. This is the closest thing to like a song that expresses any sort of opinion on this album, and it has the most stupid, dumb shit opinion of all. And there is something so inherently hilarious to me about it, though. The idea of a bird being possessed by the spirit of Abraham Lincoln and shitting on a statue of Robert E. Lee is such a powerful image that I want to get like a pigeon tattoo wearing like a top hat with the Abe Lincoln beard.
And a beard. That's really good. Well, there's also like the first chorus after the pigeon poops. He's talking about Lincoln, and he says, "Why did he make it do that?" And then later, when he poops on the statue, it's, "Why did they make me do that?" It's like he's passing all the blame on the ghost Lincoln.
Right. Which, I gotta say, Abe Lincoln, if Abe Lincoln was a ghost, I highly doubt that he would be spending his time shitting on statues of Robert E. Lee, a man he never met. Like, I would imagine probably Lincoln cared a lot more about, Jeff Davis or like any of the Confederate political leadership. Like, Jesus. Anyways, let's move on to my Memory Foam Fuck Pad or whatever it's called.
Well, Memory Foam Bed. First thing I have is harmonica alert. This is the first time he did anything different with the beat. Or with the whatever, the backing, the guitar.
It's the same called guitar, the beat now. Yeah. But the beat, it's classic country guitar chords and harmonica. So here's the joke here, okay? By the way, before I get into it, actually, keep in mind that when I got here, this was, I think, the most viewed song on YouTube, and it already had 2 likes and no dislikes. So good job, Viper. The joke is the Memory Foam mattress. He comes home and he sees 2 sets of knees imprinted on the mattress, and his wife's face in the pillow, but he says he sees it in the mattress. I'm not sure how that works. But the joke here is that his wife was with a friend who she claimed was gay named Jerome. But he comes to the conclusion, because there is poop on the sheets, that Jerome was in fact gay and was pretending that his wife was a man. And then he laughed about it because Jerome apparently had AIDS, and they both contracted AIDS and died. And that's the joke. That's the whole bit. The man in his mean-spirited self goes out and pees on his wife's grave. It's a whole lot. It's a whole lot of terrible. Easily the second most mean-spirited for no reason thing. This is also the same name. What Luis? Lucille,
what do you
right?
call it?
No. Louise.
Lucille.
You were right the first time.
I think it is Louise. The same name that he gives to the girl in Everything Needed Work, Butterface. It's the same name as his wife. I think he only knows the name of one woman. It's probably his mom's name, I'm guessing. Maybe a sister. So I hate this one. This makes me feel bad for all people.
Everybody.
Just all of them. You want to move on to Freakishly Long Dick?
You're goddamn right. I want to move on to freakishly long dick. Not even Long Dick Johnson, and he had a long dick, hence the name.
Yeah. No, this is like slam poetry style where he just like slow talks through how even though he's very ugly and fat and deformed, he has a big penis, so he still has fun in life.
Yep.
He also, this is where he steals the same joke that he used earlier about he's so fat that he found, this time it was a cheese steak instead of a grilled cheese.
Correct.
In the folds of his stomach. But yeah, the whole joke is that he's ugly with a big penis, so he's still able to do stuff, but only in the dark. That's it. That's the whole bit. Want to move on to Spring Break 09?
Freakishly long dick is also a
Viper
Viper name for sure.
Yes.
Freakishly long dick is something that he would 100% release. Yeah, let's move on before I off myself.
The next one is Spring Break 09. This is the one with the least content, I think. There's not a lot to go into.
He gets an STD here, right?
Yeah, this is where he gets gonorrhea, chlamydia, and HIV.
Right, that's correct.
That's the whole joke, is that he gets drunk on spring break and has sex, and then he has an STD. He asks why is that? Why do I have a sunburn on my penis? Is like the first part of the chorus.
And heartburn in my balls, right? He has heartburn in his balls and a sunburn on his dick, which is the funniest way I've ever heard gonorrhea described. Is a heartburn in my balls.
Can I get rid of this in time for Spring Break 10?
Right,
like 2010, and that's it. There's very little here. He's definitely run low on ideas at this point, and I think he hits the bottom of the barrel in the next one. Do you want to move on to baboon butt hemorrhoids?
Yeah, we 100% should.
So I got all the way to this point. I had written, like I always do, I copied the names of all the songs, right? And I put them on a sheet for me to read. And I didn't pick up on that this name should stand out to me until I got here, but it definitely should. The first thing you hear, he jumps right into lyrics. These hemorrhoids are tearing my ass apart, leaving brown and red in my underwear every time I fart. That the whole joke is that he has hemorrhoids. They hurt and are stinky. And also he goes to get advice from a priest and gets, you know, the joke. You get it.
Yeah.
And then the priest talks about how hemorrhoids are like, he calls them like speed bumps or like pleasure bumps or something. It's awful. This is trash. This is the worst piece of shit.
And I am personally offended by this song because one of our friends, I use the term friend loosely, was very heavily affected by hemorrhoids when both you and I lived with him. And I just want to say that the worst days of my life are when his hemorrhoids were acting up, because God knows he took it out on everybody else.
Garrett, we've never once lived together.
No, you and, not me and you. I'm saying when I lived with this individual.
Oh, during the span. Okay,
yeah.
We've both at separate times. Yes,
at separate times lived with this individual.
And he did have flare-ups both times. Yeah. You lived with two people that had that issue at one point.
What?
You don't remember that? Yeah, both of those fellers had that issue.
Jesus Christ, that's awful.
Anyway, let's move on to flinging poo on you, huh? Sound good?
Do we have to?
No, we can just go quickly. The whole song is him, like, if I was a toad, I'd try to hop on you. If I was a deer, I'd call you deer too. It's like animal puns about a woman he likes.
Right.
It's surprisingly, like, tame compared to baboon butt hemorrhoids.
And every other song on the album.
He does call back to, if I was a monkey, I'd fling my poo at you, just like I did to that Lincoln statue. So he calls back to pooping on the statue of Lincoln.
Again, just like our boy Lee Dog, a really shitty slant rhyme.
Yeah. I don't know. He definitely, you start with the shock and like the hilarity of like what
Bumpin' Uglies.
Bumpin' Ugly in parentheses granny style, which is great. And then it just progressively gets lazier and worse and lazier and worse. And then you get to this and it's like, all right, is it over? Cool. Let's be done.
Yeah.
I gave Viper's story time a 6 out of 10.
I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I think compared to the other Viper songs, it's very in line. It's a very average Viper album.
I disagree
As usual,
wholeheartedly.
it starts strong. This is exactly like Hiram Clark Hustler to me. It starts strong.
Exactly
The first two
like
songs
it.
are great. Yes, the first two songs are great. There's a nice slow ballad in the middle, but the rest of it's pretty forgettable.
I didn't actually give this a
Um,
9 out of 10. I didn't rate this one because
Oh,
I don't know. I didn't think to. I guess if
it
I had
just
to
now
rate
in
it,
my head.
I guess if I had to rate it, I would give it. I mean, comparing it just to Viper albums, I think I would give it like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. Just compared to
Okay.
Viper albums, I think.
Okay. Let's move on to the other album, an actual
No,
Viper the rapper
We
album.
have to talk. No,
What?
we still have to talk about Víbora.
I mean, I didn't take any notes for that album other than one of the names of the song is cool. You really want to talk about the Venomous Strike of the Viper?
I do want to talk about the Venomous Strike of the Viper because I can't find the album that we listen to fucking anywhere.
It's on Spotify.
It has disappeared.
Uh-oh.
It's gone.
No way. Hold on. No way. No. It's near the very bottom.
What was the name of the album we listened to?
I think it's called The Strike of the Viper, The Rise of the Viper.
The band Viper has never released an album with that title.
No. This is on the artist Viper, the one with the Yule Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack thumbnail.
Correct.
The one with all the naked women?
Correct. The Viper band
Wait. So the
Víbora
Wait.
has never released an album by that name.
Who is this then? No, yeah, they have. For
not
sure.
not on their Wikipedia page.
Hold on. Give me a minute. I'm scrolling down through about 50 pictures of Viper's
I
face.
have for the last 10 minutes when you were talking about the last 3 songs on that album.
It's called Strike of the Viper from 2009.
It is not. That is not listed on anywhere on here.
What did we hear?
I don't know, but I was looking because I wanted to figure out what the name of the album was because there was one song on it, Hawk Fighter, which I think is a fucking sick,
yeah, that is
sick ass name.
One word too. Just
Hawk Fighter. And it is nowhere to be found. It is not at all anywhere on their Wikipedia page, despite the fact that almost every single one of their albums, all of their studio albums, and 5 out of 7 of their live albums and compilations all have individual Wikipedia pages. There is nothing, and the page's members page is up through 2021. There is no mention of the album that we listened to anywhere on it.
So it says that the label that made Strike of the Viper is called the Viper label. It started in 1999 in Liverpool. But
did we listen to an entirely different? I think we may have straight up listened to an entirely.
We just found another thing called Viper.
Yes, because this is not. This is an entirely different. Is this the same band?
I don't see that album though. Wait. Hold on. Okay, hold on. This might be something here. What did we just find? Where are we?
I don't we're
actually
in hell.
know. I don't see Strike of the Viper on here.
Strike of the Viper is not
I don't think this
on
is right.
their Wikipedia page.
It's not on the official Wikipedia, but I'm looking at the Viper label website right now. And I don't see the Strike of
Is the Viper label website in English?
Yes, it's Liverpool. That is in England.
Oh, fuck. I'm an idiot. You're totally right. So that may not be our Viper. That may not be Víbora because they're Brazilian.
No, this might be just a this looks like a music collaboratory project. But also I don't see anything on here. All of these things were released in 1999, I think.
And then just this one from 2009?
No, this one's from 2012. It's in here somewhere maybe, but I don't see it. I don't know. I think we should move on. This is scary. I'm a little scared.
Anyways, check out Strike of the Viper, the Venomous Strike of the Viper, the Venomous Strike of the Hawk Fighter, which is probably it's straight up just shitty metal. Like it is just it's fine. I don't really like this type of metal. This like I don't know, new wave metal, Iron Maiden type metal. Not my brand of metal. I think they're a fine version of that, but I don't particularly care for them. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
They're apparently
Okay,
huge in
well-
Japan, and you pointed out that they have some hilarious. they have things
Yeah.
that are just
Have some really rough, like English style album titles, like spelled out English.
Kilaru
Even-
Sword is a good one, and Vipera Sapiens is fucking great, as well as Maniacs in Japan.
Maniacs in Japan. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm glad for them because they're definitely more successful than Viper
Oh,
the
absolutely.
Rapper. So good for them for getting all of Viper's YouTube
Yep.
money, I guess. Let's move on.
Yeah, gladly.
Let's hear from our boy Viper
Lee
the Rapper. I have the best Piece and Chain ever made.
The most disappointing Viper album ever released.
I think that the first 6 or 7 songs are it was almost the best Viper album.
Correct.
Almost. I'm gonna
That is the
save
correct
my
take.
absolute. I'm gonna save my absolute meltdown because I've been holding it in for a week at least. Because I listened to this right after we got done talking after we recorded last week.
Jesus.
I went ahead and listened, and I've been waiting. So here we go. This is an album he made because someone was he heard a lot of people kind of jacking his style using their this is what 2010-ish. People were jacking the Viper style, or more likely the JPEG Mafia style of samples, and people were doing more chops and screws, and there were people who were critiquing him because he does the same shit on every album, right? So he decided to just say, well, fuck you guys, I'll show you. I'll do something else. I'll do the auto-tune style. I'll do more edits to the beat. I'll write more fun lyrics that people actually like hearing.
I won't destroy my vocal track on every single song.
Right. I'll put the slightest bit of effort into mixing. I'll show you. And then he does it for 7 songs.
Right.
And then he gives up.
This is the most disappointing Viper album because the first half is the most creative, the most artistically interesting, the most musically challenging work that Viper has ever done. Not all of it is good. Granted, a lot of it is dog shit, but it is taking risks. It is taking musical risks, and I appreciate that. Viper, as I have said from week 1, is best at producing and is bad at the vocal stuff. And this is really where that shines. A lot of even the bad songs, the bad original songs on this album are kind of almost saved and are still kind of listenable, even with his shitty auto-tuned vocals. Because the production work on this album, on those first 7 songs, is he nails it. He nails it. It is very.
I agree. I 100%
it is
agree.
10 out of 10 production. It's the best creativity of that almost industrial the Yeezus era of Kanye West, all krautrock influence, electronic influence, all this really cool stuff. And he has samples that are really well used. And he edits those samples in a really, really creative way. That's where I kind of got that.
That was my favorite part. He actually edited the samples instead of just trimming them into a
right. And that's.
And he does the samples and a beat. Usually he does one or the other. Where if he takes a sample, it'll be like that T-Pain sample. That was the best sample I think he ever did. And it's just T-Pain going, hey, hey, and that's the whole beat. But in this one, it's it's a sample, and he edited it, and he put that auto-tune type filter on it to make it sound like it goes with his vocals, and he put a beat behind it that works.
It is almost.
Let's start going and take it
Absolutely.
song by song because I don't want to get too heated about the rest of it. So let me take control as the first one. The hook is this kind of nice. It's like a barbershop quartet almost, where it's 2 Vipers and then the 2 actual R&B dudes from the sample, and he has edited the vocals so it all sounds like it goes together, both of the Vipers actually are in time with each other, which is nice because
And he does fuck it up later on this album.
Yeah. The hook actually, or not the hook, the verse is a little rough because he doesn't quite time it up perfectly. He's trying to do the like, it's almost like the Venom effect from the Cobra record or the Cobra track, where he doesn't quite have it right. He gets back to the 5 drunk Vipers standing in a room. But I heard this and I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I like the hook. I like where this is going. I have the note, this is the best Viper song I've heard in weeks.
It is.
Like,
it is as if you took Hiram Clark Hustler or beat from Hiram Clark Hustler and injected it with pure MDMA. It is almost like, weirdly enough, it is almost like a dance electronica track.
The hook, I loved this hook, and the auto-tune works for Viper. I don't think it's like the best thing he could have done, because the whole chorus, all of his vocals are auto-tuned,
which is par for the course
for all of the originals.
Songs,
right. And you know, that's kind of like, it's kind of whack because he's just auto-tuning. But I think, one, that's the point that he's trying to make. It's like, see, I can auto-tune all my vocals too. It's not that hard because this is 2010. But also, like, honestly, just putting the auto-tune on his voice sounds better than the usual weird effects that he puts on. It's also much easier to understand him.
And auto-tune,
the lyrics or whatever here, but yeah, auto-tune
gets a bad rap, I think. Auto-tune, when it is used correctly, can be a really effective way to add that electronica or electronic music or experimental type stuff to your hip-hop. And I think that, you know, it got a bad rap because it did get overused around the same exact time period, but I think Viper kind of stumbles ass backwards into the correct use of autotune, where he is not using it just to pitch correct, right? He is using it to modulate his voice and again add a layer, add a depth to his music and his production that is not there otherwise. I'll bring this up again. He does it with a lot of the samples, I think more so than with his own vocals, but adding that auto-tune almost makes those vocal tracks, and I've said this before on a couple other albums, almost into an additional instrument or an additional, you know, instrumental part of the track rather than being vocals. And that is, I think, really, really, really cool. I don't think that was intentional. I think, like you said, his intention was, hey, fuck you guys, I can do auto-tune too. But I think that he stumbles ass backwards into making something like somewhat like pretty compelling in terms of musical creativity, which is hilarious that his best work he did as a middle finger and just accidentally created something cool. But
yeah, let's go to Why Boys Want Me Killed, the second one. Yeah, so again, this sounds almost nothing like a Viper song, but it's he's also, this is where it really starts. I guess this was also the point where he wanted to prove that he could do fun lyrics again. Because I'm just going to read some off here if you don't mind, because I liked a lot of these. So we have, on the real, all I do is chill, while boys walk around with anger concealed. Truth is revealed, I ball. Cake, jewelry, cars, hoop, I got it all. That's pretty cool. He says all the words, cake, jewelry, cars, hoop, I got it all. That's pretty fun.
Is cake ass or is it money in this case? Or is it actually
I think it's crack.
Oh, all right.
I'm just gonna say it. It could be cash, but it has cake has meant diamonds, money, jewelry, girls, and crack. So it could be pretty much anything. Here's one of your favorites. Actually, this is something he doesn't do a lot. Usually we see that kind of carryover to the next line, like, oh shit, I don't have time. I'm gonna make it rhyme later. Or I'm going to make it rhyme and then add the suffix of this word at the end. Yeah. This one he had to squish, which is interesting. He said, these perceptions, are they reality? Because they think they gone see some cheese. So he rhymed reality with cheese, and he did it really rushed. It's like you were so confident in because they think they gone see some cheese that you had to squeeze it in.
Yeah, you could have totally just said see some cheese.
Yeah, and it would have been a little... Anyway, this one's also pretty good. Then these pussy N-words trying to steal my swag, so I switch it up again on the ass. You can call me all auto-tune, computer viper, that's what I do. So you cats better start playing the lotto. That's the only way y'all coming up, bro. I don't know. Just he introduces it perfectly. It's like you were saying, the auto tune, the way you do it is when you're going for that kind of electronic perspective. This isn't just I'm Viper, I sound this way when I sing. This is like a character. This is auto tune computer Viper.
Right.
Like that's the way you should do auto tune, I think, is as part of your shtick.
Yeah, if you're gonna go for it whole hog, because I think that the reason that autotune gets a bad rap is because it was used during this time period. It was used so sparingly that it almost came across as subtle when that's not what it was kind of intended for. Autotune is it's more like a talk box, right, than it is what I think it was used for at this time period, which was pitch correction. It is more like that Peter Frampton or Daft Punk style a talk box almost.
The vocoder.
The vocoder. And I think that that's what Viper stumbles into creating on this album. By the way, before we move on, I did have one off-topic note from this song, which is that the album cover is fucking hilarious. It looks like it was
He has
drawn...
that exact chain and piece too.
It legitimately looks like it was drawn by Chris Chan, the Sonichu guy. Like, it is awful.
Yes.
God awful.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, but then I saw a picture of him from like this year in a video with him he had the same chain on in real life, so good for him.
My favorite part about my favorite part about it is that it's drawn with either pen or pencil, and then he forgot to add the wrapper after Viper, so he just photoshopped in on the computer. The only computer generated part is where under Viper it says
wrapper.
The wrapper. God, what a hack. What a hack.
Let's move on to my favorite song of the album. Always popping my shirt off every day.
Yep.
In parentheses, with you for the long haul.
Yep.
So this hook is like knockoff Daft Punk, but I think that's kind of cool. It sounds like Digital Love from Discovery, the like Last Night I Had a Dream About You song.
Yeah.
I like the beat. I think it works for this. If he's going for auto-tuned computer Viper, why not? Also, fucking Gun Game alert. Gun Game is back. He's got a 44 today.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. I think it's the only time today, but Gun Game is back. I got some more lyrics too, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
All right, so he says, and leave these pussy in-words with they feelings hurt. With me, all the ladies flirt, and leave these dudes with their emotions desert. Id.
Damn it.
Then we have, I keep paper stacking like a paper mill, then mix things up like Jack and Jill on the hill. For real, I'ma make boys find peace of mind when they fallen off they grind.
Oh, so now he's gonna. We could not find peace of mind, and now he's gonna help us.
He's gonna make them.
Yeah. Now he's gonna give us the peace of mind.
I like that. Also, I'm just gonna drop all the notes right here. He made the sample here. I don't know if you looked up where the hook sample is from by any chance. So it's from a song called "Missing You" by First Lady. Again, he made pretty massive edits to. Yeah, pretty massive edits. This is one of our only
liked videos on the Two Cowards YouTube page.
Yeah, I went through and deleted all those, by the way.
Oh, damn it.
Anyway, he made genuine edits to it because it's like a kind of slow, mid 2000s like internet sad jam.
Yeah.
But this is just like First Lady is like this woman based in Miami. She released this song when she was like 14.
So that's why Viper likes it.
Yikes. On soundclick.com. This song came out in 2003. So when he made the sample, she was 21 when he made the sample. So that's good.
God.
But this was a song that was 7 years old when he did it. When he sampled it. She only ever released one album and didn't decide to go into music. But this isn't like a super popular song. She doesn't have a Wikipedia page. I found this small biography on her on artistwiki.com. And it's like one paragraph. So again, this is one of those like, where did he find this song?
Yeah.
But it's like beautiful. Like, it's perfect. The original song is really pretty, and then the edits he makes and the auto tuning, like I said, it sounds like he vocoded her voice
Yeah.
and made this like Daft Punk
Yes.
vocal beat, and he's also on it, but he's smart and lets himself be like the supporting role vocal
Right.
during the hook. It's really good. Like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I agree.
And this is where the rage starts to build
Right.
that I'll share with you later. But like, he just pulled this out, but he could have done this at any point, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah. That's what is infuriating. This is also one of my favorite songs on the album. It is not my favorite. My favorite is
Okay.
coming up in a couple.
Okay.
I do. He reused it, or he doesn't reuse. He may reuse. You may know better than I. That vocal sample, but he does a very similar vocal sample on the last original that I think is a little bit better. But yeah, I 100% agree that he does. It is so weird to me that he is able to put out this type of music.
Yep.
And the next song is a return more to Viper form. The next song, Don't Take Life as a Joke, is probably the worst of the originals on this album. But it is still
maybe.
in my opinion, this is the worst of the originals on this album.
Okay.
Mostly because he goes back and uses a really shitty monotone thing or vocal track.
Yeah.
Where he just goes ballin'.
Yeah, he took a sample
ballin'.
of his own voice for this one, which is a weird choice. It's definitely something he'd recorded for something else. I don't know. He mixed up the auto-tune on the verses enough this time, which is interesting that he actually cared.
Mm-hmm.
But he mixed it up a little bit so it doesn't get old. But yeah, the hook is not great. I like the beat itself, though. It's just a shame that sample is there.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of lyrics for you.
Go for it.
But I ain't tripping on that no mo. They done let a G loose. Now I'm running the show. You think that you know me, but you probably don't. Never did, and probably won't.
That's so
That's
cool.
Like a Dr. Seuss beat, but it's like
that is literally
that's, cool...
that's like that could be on Rapper's Delight. That's like old school, like late 70s, early 80s hip hop. That is super cool.
And then this one, which I think is him just like, he didn't know, obviously, that we were going to do this, but I think he did, because he says, it's like they can't figure me out. Got 'em racking. Actually, he says wrecking their brains. He gets the saying wrong, but it's like they can't figure me out. Got 'em wrecking their brains. Like, you're right, Viper. I can't figure you out. This is, I don't know.
That's the name of that's the name of the episode. Wrecking their brains.
No, it's definitely the venomous strike of the Viper. Yeah, this one was fine.
The next song is my favorite song of the original.
This one is a good one.
Can't Stop Me from Snowbird Duncan. My only note is what the fuck, I love this. This is genuinely a super, super cool, laid back. Viper often gets thrown in with that quote unquote chill hop or that, like, you know, the cloud rap type stuff. And I think generally speaking, that's not true. I think that he's not a part of that movement. This is purely like, this is a song that I would listen to on my own.
There's some really, again, interesting lyrics that I genuinely struggle to believe that he wrote.
It's just about basketball, and it's like,
it is, yeah.
It's weird and like not Viper-esque, where it's very relaxed and laid back. He's not going for it hard with the rapping. I don't know why I said that like an elderly person.
The rapping,
but his vocals, his flow is slowed down, but it's not pitched down. It is very clear, it is very crisp, and he has kind of a really nice voice when he doesn't add anything to it, when he doesn't, slow it down or deepen it or do whatever the fuck he does on all of his other albums that ruins his voice, to where, like, this is a genuinely good song.
I agree. If you like some oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you're gonna listen to two songs off this album, listen to our favorites. Listen to Can't Stop Me from Snowbird Duncan and
And
always,
always popping my shirt off every day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are genuinely good songs.
Bit of trivia about this song. I like this one too, obviously. I thought this was pretty good. On Genius, this is one of the few on this album that actually had the lyrics, which cool. The album art for this song is, so it's labeled as the best piece in chain ever made. It's labeled as being a part of that album. But the picture at the top has the album art for an album called Rich and Not Famous. And the link to the song on YouTube is to an album called Yo Chick Chase Me. So there's three albums attributed to this.
We'll be hearing this one again, it seems.
Yeah. I've got some lyrics for you though, because there's some really cool stuff in here.
Go for it.
So first we have, I'm the antagonist, see what I'm about, got the protagonist scared of a joust.
Yep.
I don't know what that really means, but none of those are words that I thought Viper would ever say. I never thought he would say joust in a song.
He is also 100% our antagonist.
Yes.
He is the antagonist of this podcast and, at this point, our lives.
We also have Peep How My Stings Grind, technologically advanced and industrialized. Another good callback to his auto-tune and the computer Viper. Boys wish they could be on my level, but they battle assault. It's soft as a pebble. I don't really know about that. I don't know about running level with pebble, and I don't know how pebbles are soft. Like, that's a rock, Viper. Rocks are just distinctly not soft.
Yeah.
They battle assault. It's soft as a rock, or soft as a pebble. That's a little weird. Then we have, and if they run up, they'll get smoked like a genie. I'm just a made G, locked in money mode. My cash shocking dudes like an electrode, which I choose to think is a Pokemon reference.
Yeah.
It may not be, but that's still funny. Also, smoked like a genie. Come on.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I love in my headcanon is that Viper's a big Pokemon guy.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope he plays Pokemon Go. He and Sammy Classic Sonic Fan or whoever the fuck made that. I play Pokemon Go every day. They should do a collab. That'd be cool.
I'm just out here waiting for the Viper Minecraft parodies.
Me too. He did one actually
that we're gonna make.
Yeah.
Let's move on to have you.
I think this is the
sit in a hoop game. This one is pretty bad too. He does what I mentioned earlier that he's done a couple times before in other Viper albums, where he will do, and you've mentioned it before as well, where he'll have two vocal tracks of him saying the same words, interspliced and not quite in time. They're lined up. And so some of the words are just doubled at the same time, but obviously it's not a double track, right? He doesn't just copy one track and paste it and then not line it up correctly. It is two separate recordings that he then tries to line up. So there's a little bit of overlap where maybe one time he wasn't quite on beat, or one time he kept a word going longer than in the other time. And it just, it all goes to kind of break the immersion of the song, I guess. It really takes you out of it because you're like, what the fuck is this? Why is he doing this? And really detracts from it. I don't remember anything else about the song because that stood out to me so much.
Yeah, I have two lyrics that I want to talk about real quick, but this was really underwhelming. I have two really kind of weird ones. So first, it's I am every woman in the world's favorite bitch. You can find me on ever lady's wish list. So not only did he call himself a bitch, he also rhymed bitch with wish list.
That's pretty good.
And then later, he says baller hating. Like very distinctly different words. Not baller Haitian. It's baller hating.
I don't like that at all.
And it's not even close. Like, it's very clearly what he's saying, and it makes me wonder, has he always meant baller hating this whole time?
We have to move on. We can't stay. No, I can't. No, this is going to break my brain. We have to leave that for another day. I think that
this is actually making a distinction where baller Haitian is definitively different from baller hating, and this is the proof that he could. Anyway, let's go to jumping out the gym.
There is going to be an entire episode somewhere down the line, and maybe years of us dissecting that.
This is not an original, Garrett.
Jumping out the gym?
That's correct. I recognized the sample at the beginning. This is him editing an old one.
Really?
I know that the sample is something that I've heard before, and I know that the verses are something I've heard before. I couldn't figure out which track it was, but I am like 99.9% sure this is a remix of an old song.
Interesting. That is interesting.
I think this might be that Blast Zone song from like Snake in the Grass that was from some project I couldn't find before.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not. It's definitely something I've heard before. Like I know I've heard that sample. I know I've heard him say two hand dunks only the same way he does here.
Right.
Which just makes it weird because if he was gonna just do an old song, he does that for the bottom half of the album anyway. So why would he do that here and then have one more original and then I don't know.
Well, he was originally going to do similar stuff with the rest of this, and then he just got high on crack cocaine and decided not to.
Yeah.
But let's move on. I'm God's favorite.
This is really weird.
Very weird
made me
as well.
Feel a little strange.
It
kind of sounds like he. Go ahead.
It's the most minimalist production of the whole album. It's very, very stripped down. There's not a lot of instrumentation. And it changes, the beat changes a lot, and he changes his vocals a lot. And that is the weirdest, shittiest part of it to me.
He also, I think this is the one where he just has the one long verse, right?
Right. It is. This is a short song. I think the song is only like 2.5 minutes long.
This is him talking about like being God's favorite. Obviously, it's the whole verse. It kind of sounds like there's some weird, like, sexual relationship between him and God.
Right.
And then
I mean, who among us has not had some had some copulation with Zeus?
He mentions that like God told him that at the end of times he'd be sitting on a throne right next to God and Jesus. And I
thought he was the second coming of Christ, according to himself.
Well, but he's the second son of God.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So, I mean, yes and no, right? But my favorite lyric is right at the end, talking about God. He said there's only two things he wants me to remember. That's Easter and the 25th of December.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Just weird. The beats are weird, the way they change are weird, the way he sings and mixes his vocals are weird.
Yeah.
It's not bad, but it's just super out of place.
It is.
But it would have been out of place no matter what.
Right. This is again, like I said, it is the most minimalist production, but the most maximalist vocal stuff that he does. But he doesn't do it mechanically or digitally. He does it with just his voice. It's really weird. I agree that it's very out of place and would have been out of place on anything. And it so stands out to me because it almost feels like it would have belonged on a different Viper album, but I can't point to a Viper album that it would have sounded similar on. It is really just this oddball, like...
I think this would have been a cool opener to an album called I'm God's Favorite, where he just did like a concept about religion or him being whatever.
Well, I believe he does. I do believe he does have an album called I'm God's Favorite.
Right.
So maybe we'll see it again there. Maybe we'll see it again.
Maybe one day I'll see you again.
Maybe one day I'll see you again. Next song, my only note. Okay, it's over, huh? And
so this is go ahead. God.
I listened to about half of this song and I said, okay, it's over, huh? And then I clicked on Hustlin' Thick, which is like 2 or 3 more songs down. And it was...
next.
Oh, it's next. It's, I clicked on that. It was the Hustlin' Thick. And I said, all right, I'm not going to listen to any more of this shit because fuck you, Viper.
Oh, so
Viper.
Does that mean I just get to go? Because I've got a lot to say.
Absolutely.
All right, cool. So
take it away, my friend.
Gangstered Up is... I'm going to give him... What just happened to you?
I'm so angry. I threw my shit.
So Gangstered Up is, I'm going to give him a little bit of credit. Some of these are remastered and some of them are not. I think that the way you're supposed to be able to tell is the ones that are remastered got new names and the ones that are not remastered are just the same. So this is I'm Thugged Out Ballin'. It's like barely remastered. The beat's a little bit clearer, but his vocals still suck. It's effectively the exact same. It's boring. It's lame. There's no auto-tune or anything. Then he does Hustlin' Thick, which is just Hustlin' Thick from Paperman.
Yep.
Not original Hustlin' Thick. That would have been too cool. It's Hustlin' Thick from Paperman.
Right.
Then
Most of them are
note
from
here is-
Paperman. Most of them are from Paperman.
A lot of
right?
them are, yeah. Some of them are actually. It's a good mix, to be fair. But I said, bro, you really just ran out of new stuff and gave up, huh? Next is this is where I'm starting to get really angry, Garrett. The next song is called "I Gots to Ball," but here's the thing: this isn't the song "I Gots to Ball" from fucking Hiram Clark or whatever. From Hiram Clark, the one that I really liked. It's Ball from Gleam. And I liked this song more the second time around, actually, hearing it not on Gleam and on something else. He references some of his other songs. He has the lyric, "I'm going ball, I'm going grind, I'm going sting, I'm going shine, I'm a fool, I'm going hoop, catch two hanger, alley-oop." I think that's kind of fun. And then, "I'm going ball by the mall, all this cash, I can't fall, diamonds on me, Bezatine," which is like a hook from earlier. I like this song more the second time, but I'm pissed that it's not "I Gots to Ball." Well, here's the thing, Garrett. The next song's called "I'm Gettin' and Lovin' Snowbird Duncan." Guess what this song is? It's "I Gots to Ball" from Hiram Clark.
Damn it!
He fucked it up. There is no way in this world that he didn't mean to just name this. He didn't mean to put "I Gots to Ball" with "I Gots to Ball" and call the other one because Ball from Gleam is actually about Snowbird Duncan.
Right.
That's part of the song. There's a whole fucking verse about Snowbird and Duncan. So I know that's what was supposed to happen. He just fucked it up. All right, but then we get a little break, right? We get a little break. He has "On a Gangster Stroll." This is "I'm That Southwest Blood" from Yule Cowards. It's a barely remastered version of an old song that I didn't like that much. Whatever. Next, we have Paperman. But it's not Paperman. No, it's "For Me to Be Made" from These Rappers Claim They Hard. But here's the thing, Garrett. This next song called "Come Up" is Paperman from Paperman. He did it twice on the same album. How do you fuck that up? And this is why I'm angry, Garrett. This is where it gets me. Because he starts off, he's doing this auto-tune thing. He's trying to show that I can do something else. I've got other things. You want to hear the auto-tune? You want to hear me do some more with the beats? This was a great opportunity. If you ran out of original songs, that's fine, dude. If you just wanted to put this out and then you do like half new material and then you say, okay, I'm going to do half of the album as remixes, but I'm going to do it the same way. Maybe you just apply the effects to what you already have. Maybe you make new beats with the samples to the old songs with the same lyrics. That would be cool. And you auto-tune and you make the edits and you make them new. But no, he just fucking gives up. And he hits the random button and pulls up the first 8 songs he finds. And he slaps them on here. And he can't even be fucking bothered to find the right names. And he mixes it up not once, but fucking twice. Like, it's so fucking obvious, dude, that this come up is clearly "For Me to Be Made" because that's the song about you coming up.
Right.
And Paperman is fucking Paperman. And it's so obvious that "I'm Getting and Loving Snowbird Duncan" is supposed to be the title for the song about Snowbird and Duncan. And "I Gots to Ball" is supposed to be the title for fucking "I Gots to Ball."
That is, oh my god. This is infuriating.
He puts out 7 fucking songs that are anywhere between good and at least interesting. He's trying. This is something he's had the capacity to do. These are by far the best songs I think he's ever put out. These are 7 of his top 15 songs, easy.
Absolutely.
Even
100%.
the bad ones are better than some of this other shit.
Yep.
Especially, like, he spent fucking 2-3 years putting out edited versions of the same mediocre album that were just fucking worse than this.
Right.
Even if you wanted to do edits of like, oh, I'm gonna auto-tune this one, that would have been better than making 4 fucking Cobra records of the same album.
And what sucks is that we know that he's not like excuse me.
Allergic to bullshit.
I am allergic to bullshit. We know that he's not like opposed to making EPs or making short albums. Like he could have just he could have just released those 7 songs as a
No, it's gotta be
standalone
15
thing.
fucking. It's got to be a 15-song album. It's got to be between 50 minutes and an hour 10. Like,
It is
fuck
infuriating.
yourself,
It is
Viper.
fucking infuriating. That is why at the outset I mentioned that this is the most disappointing Viper album of all time, because it is genuinely, the first half is genuinely good. The first half is the only Viper that I think I would actually recommend people listen to. It is creative, it is well put together, it is at the very least has effort put into it that a lot of the other Viper albums don't have. And it's creative and it's fun to listen to. Even if it doesn't hit the mark all the time, it's at least taking risks and it's trying new things. And it's pushing the envelope of what rap music can do and what hip hop can be. And it's ahead of the curve in a lot of ways in that. This is 2010. It is before a lot of that industrial electronica influenced hip hop came out. And then it is completely fucking ruined by Viper being fucking Viper. He does exactly what he's done time and time again, and he ruins what actual goodwill I ever had towards him. It is baffling that you could make this album and release it. You have to be high on crack cocaine to think this is a good idea. It's baffling. It is truly, truly, unconscionably stupid.
And it bothers me more that he did this. He put it out. This is one of his, like, people like Yule Cowards because it's the funny name. People like Hiram Clark mostly because of those first 2 songs, which I get.
Mm-hmm.
And people like this. This is like on the pantheon of like his best albums.
Right.
But it's he never made anything like this again. At least not that I've ever heard.
No.
People say this was a one-off thing. He just did this to show people that he could, tell them to fuck off, tell them stop biting my style, see I can do whatever I want, and then he went right back to making the same garbage. And I know that because the next 4 albums for next week, I listen to it just the random tracks like I always do to make sure they work. And guess what? It's the same thing.
God damn
It's the same old shit. So he learned nothing. He put this out. He gave up. He learned nothing. You know what? Because this is let's do this segment while I'm thinking about it. The what you should listen to.
Right. So before we do that, I gave this album a 5 out of 10. Way I came up with that is I gave the first half of this album a 10 out of 10, and I gave the second half of this album a 0 out of 10. So split right down the middle. Give it a 5 out of 10 on the whole.
I gave it a 7 because at least some of the songs that he picked for the back half are songs that I liked.
Yeah.
They're also not just songs we've heard a million times. And also I thought that even the songs that are just repeats, they're not as bad as some of those later Hiram Clark Hustler songs. And I gave Hiram Clark a 6. So I give this a 7. But I also would not recommend that you support this album other than those first several songs because it's a piece of shit. And instead, what you should listen to is Daft Punk's Discovery. Just go ahead and listen to some vocoder, some interesting electronic, and maybe give some try to Lil B the Bass God, who rapped over that entire album one time.
That's true.
And just did it better. So if you're into this kind of aesthetic, listen to that instead. If you never have, rip Daft Punk. They broke up a month ago, a couple weeks ago.
Not even 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, about a month ago.
Yeah.
And so listen to that. Love that album. Watch Interstellar 555. There's an animated movie that they released alongside it. It's like an anime movie thing. There's no words in it. It's just the characters doing their thing. There's a whole story. It's like they're a space band that gets kidnapped by greedy Earthman and forced to make Earth music, and they figure out that they're being brainwashed. It's great. It's truly beautiful animation. Great album. That's what you should listen to instead.
Yeah. So I am going to recommend that you guys do listen to the first 7 if songs off of The Best Piece and Chain, just to get an idea of what Viper can be. I said this week 1 that my rating system was based off of a hypothetical best Viper album, and now I know what the 10 out of 10 would be. It would be 15 tracks exactly like those first 7. That would be a 10 out of 10 Viper album for me. But aside from that, I'm going to recommend a bit of an older album. I'm going to recommend Queens of the Stone Age's Songs for the Deaf. It's a bit of an older album. It is the most unconventional, conventional rock album, I think, of the past couple, probably 2 decades. I think Queens of the Stone Age gets kind of a bad rap because they are very just traditional rock and roll, just hard rock. There's really not any other way to describe what they do. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's not my personal favorite genre, but I do think there is something to be said about being kind of the pinnacle of your own genre, regardless of what that genre is. And I think Queens of the Stone Age is that. Songs for the Deaf is probably not my favorite of their albums. I think Rated R and Like Clockwork are a bit better, but I've been listening to Songs for the Deaf just because it's been getting warmer where we live, and on my drive home from work, it's warm enough that I can put the windows down and just blast some rock music, which I like to do. So I've been listening to that a lot. I just think that there's something admirable about being the best at a certain genre, even if that genre is kind of, gets a bad rap. It's the best kind of analogy that I could come up with is like superhero movies, where like, you don't go into it thinking like I'm going to be challenged or have some kind of like life affirming message out of this movie. You're going into it to see cool explosions and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, that's what Queens of the Stone Age is for me. If they were a superhero movie, they'd be like The Dark Knight, where it's got, all of the same elements that you would expect from a cool superhero movie, but it's got kind of a darker undertone with some interesting themes. So that's what you should listen to instead. But seriously, check out the first 7 songs on this album. Check out Atticus Lane. Thanks to him for the use of our theme song. A lot of people think that is just Viper. It is not.
Nope.
That is actually Atticus Lane, who is a musical artist that I'm close friends with. So check him out. What are our albums for next week, Will?
For next week, we have 4 albums. I think we're back to tradition. We're getting right back into it. We have first album. You ready for it?
Yep.
Winnin'.
Oh boy.
Winnin'. We will not be with these selections of 4 albums.
That is going to be impossible to find.
Winnin'. The next one will be much easier for you to find. Are you ready?
Yep.
The next one is called You Went to County Jail, Not Penitentiary, Pussy and Word.
Fuck yeah.
I believe you will be able to find that one. I doubt anyone else has ever named anything that. You ready for the third one?
No, not yet. Hold on.
Okay. It's a paragraph.
All right. There. I just wrote You Went to County Jail, Not Pin. So hopefully you can find it like
that'll
that.
work. Next is Trendsetter. Trendsetter.
It's not Trendsetter?
Nope. ER. Hard
All right.
R Trendsetter.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Last one is Real Talk.
Also going to
Real
be
Talk.
impossible to find. These
Yeah,
short name Viper albums are the fucking hardest ones to find.
Yeah, I left it out, but a lot of those Best Piece and Chain Ever Made songs are, like, I would have been the first person to like or dislike. Some of them I was the first person to view. The version of fucking on a Gangster Stroll from this album that was just Southwest Blood. I was the first person to view that on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's pretty neat. We're making history out here, fellas.
Jesus.
Also, big shout out. This is going to be a few weeks late, but if you're here listening from the Viper the Rapper subreddit, welcome, I guess.
I want my favorite Reddit post ever, or my favorite Reddit comment ever, is from the Viper the Rapper page, where somebody posted the link to the Viper song "I Orchestrated the Capitol Hill Riot to Install Myself as President of the United States," and the top voted comment, and where we'll leave it off today, was "Hell yeah, stimulus crack inbound." All right,
Oh my
folks.
God.
I'm Garrett.
And I'm never going to find peace of mind.
And we're 2 cowards who don't even smoke crack. We'll see you guys next week.
What's up?